Hey everyone, and welcome to the big 1.9 update and Wetlands DLC overview. This video is going to give you all-in-one video, and we're going to make it quick and easy to understand, so let's get started, right? Number one is the Roaming Educator. As you can see over here, there is a wonderful educator standing right here next to a bin, almost inside of the bin, and giving a little talk. This one is not assigned to any of those talks over here. As you can see, they are just doing this randomly out of nowhere, and then they just continue on the path until they see another spot where they could give a little talk to the people, and this is how the Roaming Educator works. I'm quite a fan of that. This adds a bit more to your zoo, and that's already all about this change. Next up is the bathing behavior. As you can see, wonderfully showcased by these macaque apes over here, and they are just having a wonderful little bath here in this shallow water. And I gotta say, this really adds all to their behavior. They are coming together, gather all in here in the water and just enjoying a little bath. This is pretty wonderful and can really enrich your zoo experience quite a bit. We actually stay with the macaques for the next change in the game, and that is mist and bubble effects to the water bodies. That is a pretty cool change. You could just click on the water body as always, and you go to the customize setting over here, and it gives you a couple of more settings over here. Instead of only the color and transparency menu, you now also have the bubbles and the mist. You can increase the intensity of the bubbles, you're gonna get more of those, or you can get the intensity of the mist, and so you get more of these. And the best thing is, both of these things come without the caveat of this little black whatever bubble to make them appear. This just naturally appears, and so you can adjust whatever you want to your liking, and this makes the water even cooler, or actually in fact it makes the water warmer, or seem water warmer. Well, it's a kind of cool change, and it's pretty useful. And we yet again stick with this body of water because there's one more thing we have to talk about. They added a new terrain tool that is in fact the wonderful flatten to terrace. I'm gonna quickly show you how that works. It's a pretty simple change. You gotta go and just dig a little hole just like that, and then you use the flatten to terrace tool. You can set the terrace height you want to have from the location where you click. I'm gonna keep that to 1. I'm gonna make the size a little bit smaller, and then we just click here, and you can see it just kind of constructs this little terrace for you just where you click with the elevation of 1. What you can also do now is you can actually tell it to make a shallow pool offset. If you do not do that, you can see this all goes a little bit lower in, so this is the offset for the terrace. Here you don't have that. What I would recommend is always just like smooth it all out, and you will see if you use the water, it always perfectly creates this shallow option over here. As you can see, it's super shallow actually, and you always need to find out otherwise how you do that. But with this option, you just pretty easily get the correct height, because the game knows exactly where the water level is, and it will always adjust it to the water level. If you know my struggle of always doing that, this is a very handy addition to the game that you can now also enjoy with the free update. Alright, next up is 2-in-1. You can already tell over here there is a little webcam feed from a burrow, but this is not a random burrow. This is actually in fact a small burrow. This is that one over here. Small burrows are pretty new to the game. They come in this small variant, and in this case it is suitable for the black-tailed prairie dog, but obviously it's also going to work for the meerkat as well. And once they're in the wonderful little burrow, you will be able to see that one brought over to this feed over here. Alright, so I'm quite impressed by the game, because actually it took me a couple of minutes until they were going into the burrow, and only when I started to make it rain. Now I'm gonna unpause the game, and you can see this is the webcam feed from inside of that very burrow here in the background. It's kind of a little bit choppy, but you know, that's like also performance wise obvious. And you can see the little prairie dogs coming in here because it's raining and they search for shelter. That's obviously why they go in. Now we just see that one leaving, and we're just going to go over to see it's popping out here in a couple seconds. There you go. So you can see it's pretty much much easily coming out of this one, and I love this little function to connect those things. In order to do so, you just pretty simply click on that one, and then you go with replace image, and you see there is a new tab to the right hand side, which is the camera tab, and then you have got the animal burrow over here. With that change, there's also a menu which you can find over here in the normal zoo menu. Go all the way down, and there's a new tab called audio visual, and then you click on it, and you can see between speakers, billboards and cameras, and you can see they're all in use. You can see how much they have in running cost. Obviously I'm in Sandbox, so I don't have any costs available at here, but this would be how to organize all of these things. So that's pretty handy indeed, and this covers all of your technology seeking behavior to embed that into your zoo as well. One more change is obviously a brilliant new explore mode. So in contrast to what we've done in the past, where you put down Tagit Cam on one of the guests or whoever you wanted to choose for, and then it brought you to the first person, you now have an option down here with the camera modes to choose the explore mode. If you click on that one, you get this little icon here to drop down, and we are just going to look for this spot over here. You click down and you zoom in. Pretty good stuff over here. You've got some pretty nice controls now. You can hide the camera with G, obviously, but there are two new options which I pretty much love, and this is using Q to lower yourself and using E to stand up or even raise yourself. You always know my complaint that we have been a little bit too high in comparison to the people, so almost seemingly a little bit too high like that. And now if you want to crouch through or explore the whole thing as a kid, you can just do so by zooming down, and now you're just on eye level with the kids of the zoo. So this is a pretty good addition to the game, because that helps you to explore the zoo from different views, and so you just see that you have built certain things very nicely. And also, speaking of which, you can now really build better from this menu, because you now really have the chance to build from here. See, I'm still in the explore mode. It's not like in Tagit Cam where you would leave it as soon as you click something. You now can go on and construct things from over here, which is going to make life a lot more easy if you want to build inside of something and just be very precise with your buildings. I think that's coming in handy, especially for a certain Ricey, because she will use that to make some even better signs and stuff. Now that's about it. Let's move on to the next one. One more thing that we haven't seen in the announcement were 3 new trees. In fact, it's 2 models that come in 3 sizes each, and there are also 2 knees of these wonderful trees. So these are, for once, it's the Bolt Suppress, and it's also the, let me just click on that one, the Water to Palo. And these come for the biome, obviously aquatic and grassland, as well as aquatic and grassland, and you can use them in your areas. But beware, these things are pretty gigantic, so if you want to make some huge wetland swamps and whatever, they fit very well in here. One thing to say though, the models are a lot better than recently. I know that there has been a bit of a moaning in the Europe DLC that not all of these were a little bit off, but these are pretty good in terms of models. At least I like them quite a bit. If you see some weird flickering, that is not Planet Zoo, that is my graphics driver being super outdated, but there is a reason for that. I can't use Ansel on the newest versions, and so I'm still sticking with a 2020 version of the shaders, so please don't blame the game. It's actually my decision to take that one, just as a little info. But now it's really time to go over to the Wetlands DLC. Whoops, one more thing I forgot, obviously, is the option to recolor the water inside of your small exhibits. Now, I'm going to really put in this, just a bit more transparency, you can see, or a bit less transparency. This is the easiest thing to show off how it works. For me personally, it's a cool little change. It doesn't really change much, but if you want to adjust that a little bit better to your areas, you can just do so by putting that in this way. I mean, pretty easy, right? But now it's really time for the Wetlands DLC. Alright, we start off the Wetlands DLC part of the video with the simple part. This is the pieces that come with this update, and there are not really a lot of them. The first thing we have are 3 new enrichment pieces, which is 2 different water tap pieces under which the macaques and the capybaras actually can have a little bit of a shower, which looks super cute. I'm gonna show this off in a bit. And also there's a little submarine tool, which I'm also going to show off with the dedicated animals. It's pretty wonky over here because if you place that, it's actually wobbling around a little bit because you have to place that underwater, and there you can see that. And also the pieces available are, well, not to say so, but you know, they're just like a couple of signs and one single statue. That's about it. Let's move on to the animals. We are here with the first one I'm going to show off, and that is the small Claude, actually the Asian small Claude otter, which is our second otter in the game, and oh boy, I am so in love with that animal just in real life. The model is super cute, it is freaking tiny, and there are a couple of things that come with this animal. So expect this to be most likely as the other otter we have in the game, with a couple of special things. They have a hero call, which they do actually perform once a keeper is in the habitat. They have a 2-meter deep dive requirement, which is still pretty big, not gonna lie, it's still pretty big. They do dive every now and then, but you know, it could be more. They do play around with the submarine tool over here as well, and they do their very typical standing animation while they play with the bubble machine, which I'm going to show off now. Alright, it took me quite a while to find that animation, so I'm just pausing the game here so you can see it actually in action. So let's go. Right, there you had the otter play with the bubble machine and do the little standy animation. Honestly, I wish they would do this just randomly, just as the meerkat and the prairie dog. I actually messaged Frontier about that, and maybe they're going to consider that in the future, but at least we do have the animation in-game, like that. The next animal I'm going to show you is the red-crowned crane, and honestly, I have been pretty hyped when I saw this animal on the list. It basically shares the same set of animations and stuff with the flamingo. There are a couple of little specifics added to it, which is kind of cool. And also, I love the baby model quite a bit, as you can see it roaming around here in a bit. And also, you can also, you know, let's say also once more, see how they compare size-wise to other animals in the game. Enrichment-wise, they don't have anything specific, so they share the same things with the flamingo. But I gotta say, the model itself, the beak and the sounds are just simply amazing, and they add so much to the game. I can't even explain and express why, but I'm really in love with this animal, and I can really tell that this is going to be in many of my zoos because it's just such a nice, well, very positive gap filler, if you will. So let's move on. Alright, this is about the capybara, and here we go. I guess this is the star of this pack. I just put it in the middle of our showcase. This is the wonderful capybara, while you can see some platypus going over here, and this one is just doing exactly what we needed. Oh, it's not. Are you going for the shower? I thought it was going for the shower. I'm actually going to show off the animation of the shower because it's just way too cute. But yeah, it's just absolutely amazing how these animals are made. They actually do deep dive, which surprised me quite a bit because I was not expecting this animal to perform a deep dive. They come with a huge set of new animations that we haven't seen on other animals. They come also with a very lovely baby version of this animal, which I cannot seem to find at this point. Where is the baby capybara? At this point, obviously, I'm not seeing it. Is it in the water diving around? It's not. Where is it? The baby capybara. Are you around, mate? I think, oh, there you go. This is, no, it's not. Where's the baby? Alright, there's the baby. Actually, our babies all grew up while I was waiting for this one. And there you can see, this is the baby capybara. And oh my god, it's so cute. It is such a lovely little cute animal. Also, we got this new rock enrichment item. This is kind of a rock fountain thing. I forgot to mention that during the 1.9 update. It just came sneakily into it. So we got this one as well as the flat feeders. Nothing too special, but I think it's also pretty usable. And you can also see the different fur variants of the capybaras just on show right now. And the last thing we're going to look at is the wonderful shower and diving animations of the capybara. Alright guys, it is diving time of the capybara, and here we go. The reason why I'm putting that in specifically is because I wasn't expecting that one, and this one in specific is different than all the other diving animals we had so far, and this could be easily used on some other cool animals in this game, just as like, for example, the elk, or the moose I should say, or also maybe elephants even. So this is it's not even the bears diving. I think it borrows some of the bear animations, but then again, this is clearly not from the bears. This is also from the big cats, for example, and the turning and stuff looks pretty cool, and it looks pretty smooth to me. So I'm very happy they added the diving of this animal. So very happy about this. But now let's move on to the shower. There you go. This is the wonderful showering animation, and look at that. I just love how the water is tumbling down from its head. Obviously it's not like perfectly accurate, but if you turn the camera, it almost looks absolutely flawless, and I just love how the water is dribbling over. This just adds so much to it. You can do some really cool stuff with it. Really big fan of this enrichment piece. It really is cute and nicely done, also with the little ear flickering and just how much it's enjoying its time under the hot water. Really do enjoy that one. Next up is a little surprise for me. This is the water buffalo, and this model looks freaking amazing. The fur, the horns, and everything about this one looks absolutely gorgeous. I think in terms of sheer modeling and texturing, this is amongst my favorites in the game. I think it looks really cool. You can see this one also has a pretty different color pattern of it. It just kind of looks dark, but and also like a little bit dirty, but not like dirty from Enrichment, but just like out of the box. And I don't know, it just really looks really cool. And also here, like, look at that, like with the hoofs and stuff. You have this, I can't even tell what exactly that is, like the different kind of skin fur irritations. I think it's irritations. And then also the babies look super cute, the little calves. As you can see, look at that, it's just like having a little sleep here. Really damn cute. Yeah, I'm just like really impressed by this animal. I thought this was for me not a pass, but you know, just like a real gap filler in a way. I'm just blankly honest with you, but I think it fits the game really well. It does add quite a bit to the game, and yeah, I'm very happy about this integration. They also don't have any specific special enrichment items to highlight here. They do mostly share the same as you would expect. Some others in the game already do, so you can use all of them. Let's continue with the animal I cannot pronounce. This is the Nile Lechi, or Lechu, or Letui. I can't really pronounce the name of it correctly, but it's a kind of antelope, a very furry one, and again, a very superbly done model. Yet again, an animal that unfortunately doesn't come with its own enrichment item, but as you can see, it uses the scarecrow, for example, as well as some other antelope I want to call this enrichment items. The models again look as superbly as everything else. The babies look pretty cute again, like a little, you know, also pretty much close to what you would expect from the buffalo. I don't know why they look so close together, but you know, very cute, very nice additions. You can also see the beautiful horns of that one, the nice kind of fur shaders around the neck and stuff, making it look a bit more, you know, as if the fur is a bit more woolly. I don't have a better word to express that, but yeah, really cool. It goes for a little sleep. That means for us, we are going to go for the next animal. The last habitat animal we are going to look at is the spectacled Caiman, and not really sure what to say about that one. It's a very solid addition to the crocodilians. It's yet another crocodilian in the game, even though in terms of overall look and stuff, I think that might be my favorite of the three. But yeah, just in general, I really do think, for me personally, that is not as special as the others in the pack, but it does deep dive, so another cool one for some aquatic stuff if you want to do that one. And of course, if you guys want to do a reptile house, you are very well fed with the game. There are a lot of options now. Speaking of deep dive, I just figured they do some fancy stuff down here in the water. I just didn't want to get away with it because it just looked too funny. So they do some rotation thingies and then they get stuck, and I don't know what this is. I think this little pond is just too small, but it just looks too funny to me to not share. So here you go. You've got a very nicely underground swimming animation of this spectacled belly swim Caiman. Let's move on to the exhibit animal of the Wetlands DLC, which is the Danube-crested newt, which in fact is the smallest animal in this game to date. I have no idea if we'll find it easily, but let's just move in here and see if we can. Oh, there you go. There's one. So they do have a bit of a nicer little swimming animation as we are used to seeing from some of those. So they do have some bigger path, if you will, like they are also pre-made path obviously, but they're even bigger as what, for example, the terrapin does. So it really seems like they do swim a bit more. I'm very happy with that. Looking from the outside, it feels very alive. You have some of them sitting on the ground. I like the model, but what can I say? I'm not the biggest fan of how the exhibits work in general, so obviously I am not going nuts for this one, but I think it's a very solid addition, and it also enlarges the roster of water animals inside of the small exhibits. That, my friends, is it. I think we are just meeting ourselves now for a little conclusion. Alright, that has been my little overview of the 1.9 update and the Wetlands DLC. I hope you like this very short and focused review version, even though I guess the video will be pretty long nevertheless, because there are again a huge number of changes. Honestly though, I'm not going to make a dedicated review video of this one, so I'm going to give you my very honest little opinion on that one. I think the 1.9 update is solid. It's definitely not the greatest free update we had to date. These are all very nice little additions, but none of them stand out as like in the, let's say, last 5 updates even, with, for example, boxless shops and educators in general and stuff like that. It always seems like they do prepare something for the future. It seems like a little bit of a gap-filling update of some very badly needed stuff, but nothing groundbreaking. So it is decent, but it's nothing that just kind of, knocks it out of the park, in my opinion. Really good stuff, nevertheless. Depending on what your preference on playing the game is, the Wetlands DLC is a solid or even good DLC. I'm definitely not counting that amongst my best DLCs yet, but it is definitely a good DLC. First off, the choice of animals is surprising to say the least. In my opinion, very positively surprising. The amount of enrichment items and stuff is a little bit disappointing. It's nice though, we always got some, but it's again nothing really crazy. But it is a very solid update when it comes to enlarging the number of water-dwelling animals and aquatic animals or semi-aquatic animals. And I have a feeling that this goes very well in line with the update 1.9. So, all in all, it almost feels like a gap-filling DLC to me, but the most positive possible gap-filling DLC and update. I'm a big fan of many of these things. There's nothing in here I'm particularly against or I'm not happy with. There are a couple of missed opportunities, but I think this is something from the point of a community, it always happens this way. So you will never be able to do it right for everyone. But yeah, I think it's a very solid one. Again, definitely not in my top list, but a very solid one, and I'm really hoping that this is going to pave the ground for something bigger in the summer, but I'm not going to speculate. It's just my feelings, so do whatever you want with that information. Hope you enjoyed this review. Please let me know in the comments down below what your opinion is on the 1.9 update and the review in general, and also of the Wetlands DLC. That would help me out a lot. Enjoy your time, have a good launch day of the Wetlands DLC and 1.9 update, and I talk to you in the next one.